So in Ohio, the sitting U.S. Senator is Rob Portman. He's a squish. He's retiring. That's fine with me. I'm always happy to hear when squishes retire. J.D. Vance won the Republican primary. He's running for Senate against Tim Ryan, who is a sitting Democrat in the House of Representatives. It's coming down to the wire. Less than 2 months now before voting day. Early voting, unfortunately, starts soon. According to a new USA Today poll, J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan are essentially tied. They are separated by only 1 percentage point, which is obviously well within the margin of error. So they are basically tied, which means both the J.D. Vance campaign and the Tim Ryan campaign are ramping up their campaigning. That was a phrase that we always said in our house growing up. We got it from an old book that we read where the character, instead of saying, do it now, the character always said, time is. We picked that up in my house, that phrase up in my house. My sisters and I still say that to each other when we're telling each other to hurry, or that the moment is now, time is. This is what J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan are facing. Also in campaigns, typically the last month and a half, usually the last 6 weeks, the opposition ads start running. So the strategy is typically first you introduce yourself to voters and you tell voters what you can bring to the state. And then the ads get a little nastier. They get a little more personal against your opponent, and ramping up into the last few weeks is full vilification of the person that is on the ballot opposing you. That's what we're seeing in Ohio already. That's fine. I have no problem with that. In fact, I think it's a good thing when politicians are very honest about what they think of their opponent's policies, what they think of their opponent's political voting record. If, for example, Tim Ryan is very radical leftist on healthcare, I want J.D. Vance not to just say, well, I believe in free market healthcare. I want him to say, listen, Tim Ryan believes in socialized healthcare. If Tim Ryan is in the United States Senate, he will vote for a healthcare system that will not only cost you more, it will reduce your freedom. It will cause rationing. You won't be able to get the care you need. I want to see campaign ads like that. What I don't want to see is what Tim Ryan did today. What I don't want to see is Tim Ryan actually calling for violence against his political opponents. I don't want to see this.
How do we fix all of these broken systems? Some of those answers will come from Republicans, not the extremists that we're dealing with every single day. We've got to kill and confront that movement. But working with normal mainstream Republicans, I think that's going to be really, really important, because we have to reform these systems.
We have to kill and confront the MAGA movement. He said he'd work with normal mainstream Republicans, and I'd like to ask him, Congressman Ryan, who is a normal mainstream Republican? Are you talking like Liz Cheney? Are you talking like Adam Kinzinger? Is that a normal mainstream Republican, someone who aligns with the Democratic Party, aligns with radical leftist ideology? Is this hyperbole? Is this an actual call to violence? Are Republicans overreacting? My answer to that would be no. I don't think that this is hyperbole. I think this is an actual call to violence. I don't think Republicans are overreacting. And the reason I say that is because of the context of the situation. Since 2020, the Democratic Party has endorsed political violence in pursuit of their own goals. They've encouraged, aided, abetted, and looked the other way when Black Lives Matter destroyed cities across the country. The Democrats have dismissed Antifa violence, calling it just a myth. Jerry Nadler said, oh, it's just a myth. It's just an idea. The Democrats use political violence when it's expedient to their political cause. At the same time, they pretend that Republicans are fascists. They told us, Joe Biden told us that we were fascists. And he said, what makes a fascist is denying the results of an election that doesn't go your way and encouraging political violence. We talked about this last week. Tim Ryan is encouraging violence against Trump supporters, because that's what he means when he says this: we must kill and confront the extremist MAGA movement.